Welcome back to Growth Catalyst Hub. In our channel, we focus on three things: skills, productivity, turbocharging your career. In today's episode, we are going to look at a very interesting concept. Is talent more important? Is hard work, discipline, consistent work more important? Both are equally important. There is no denial. But if you have to choose one, what would you choose? And what are the examples? What tells us which way to go? That's what we are going to look at. Let's dive in. Every workplace has its Vinod Kamblis. Every workplace has its Rahul Dravids. You would have seen your share of Vinod Kamblis and Unmukt Chands who start very early, brightly. Their stars shine very beautifully, but only to fade away. You'd have also seen your share of Rahul Dravids who plod away, but become so reliable that the workplace can't do without these people. And in today's episode, we are going to peel away the onion on what makes people become either the Vinod Kamblis or the Rahul Dravids. The early starters who shine very brightly only to fade away, or the plodders, the consistent performers who people don't even notice in their early years, but who, by the dint of their hard work, but the dint of their discipline, the bedrock of any organization. We are going to use real stories, Indian stories, cricket stories to look at why, in every single instance, the talent is important, but the discipline, the hard work, the consistency of that hard work trumps talent every single time. And today we will explore all of these through real stories from Indian cricket so that powerful lessons are learned for your career. Let's jump in. Indian cricket has never lacked talent. From gully cricket to domestic league to IPL to test cricket to one day internationals. Talent is everywhere. Brilliance is everywhere. But you know what? Talent is like potential energy. Without the discipline, without the consistent effort, without the persistence, potential energy is just potential energy. It never converts to anything else. That is where people like Vinod Kambli lost out. Talking about Vinod Kambli, what a fantastic start, electric start. Back to back test double hundreds. The youngest cricketer to reach 1,000 runs in test cricket. And yet, while he played along with Sachin Tendulkar, the god of cricket, Vinod Kambli went on to play only 17 tests. Why? It's such a loss for Indian cricket. But all of this can be pinned down to simple lack of discipline, simple lack of efforts. Fame coming very early in the career and not knowing how to handle the fame and not knowing that fame and the early start can get you only so far and losing out all of the talent to lack of discipline and lack of persistent effort. My next favorite story is Unmukt Chand. 2012 under 19 final, brilliant century, match winning century, hailed as an ex Kohli, but he never played for India. He now plays abroad, not because of a lack of talent, but because of lack of chances created by a lack of discipline, created by a lack of consistent performance. And so many stories are there, like the Vinod Kamblis and Unmukt Chands. Let's go deeper. Let's look at examples of why some stars shine very brightly so early, only to fade away, only to never to play for India. And similarly in corporate life, in company life, some people start very beautifully, but only to fade away, never to be seen at the top position that they deserve very richly, just because of their talent. But the stories again and again go on to prove that talent is never ever enough. There are three categories. Now let's start with the first category. Focus and discipline issues is the first category. This is as relevant in cricket field as it is in the corporate field. Example number one, Lakshman Shivaramakrishnan. Fantastic debut against England in India, hailed as one of the greatest spinners, youngest spinners that India has ever produced. And he produced magic in the first couple of tests he played. He produced magic under Sunil Gavaskar in the one-day tournament, Benson and Hedges, which India went on to win. Fantastic performance, but never to be head of ever again. Off-field issues, discipline issues. The second example, Maninder Singh. Fantastic spinner, hailed as the next Bishan Singh Bedi. And again, marred by off-field issues and discipline and focus. The third example is, yes, we talked about him earlier, Vinod Kambli. Along with Sachin Tendulkar, the youngest to debut in India, youngest to score two double centuries back to back, youngest to amass 1,000 plus runs in Test cricket, but never to play after his 17th Test. All the three because of discipline issues, all the three because of off field discipline issues, focus issues. Never to play for India again simply because they lost their focus, simply because they lost their form, simply because they could not produce that magic consistently ever again. The corporate parallel, think of an employee who's brilliant, who's able to produce magic, who's able to produce ideas, but who arrives late, who doesn't participate in team meetings, who doesn't care for his fellow people, who thinks that because he can think through, because he can produce those ideas, that he is above everybody else, and who brings bad name to himself and to his company because of what he does outside the office. All of this ensures that his managers slowly but steadily, but definitely stops giving him critical projects and his career starts stalling. That's what happens whether it is cricket field or corporate field. The second category is inconsistency in performance. There are three examples that I'm going to share with you. Number one, Akash Chopra, hailed as one of the very, very technically strong Indian openers, but very poor strike rates, very poor ability to convert his starts. Great commentator today, but not on the field. Second example, Rohan Gavaskar, son of the great legend, great domestic form, great domestic performance, but never converted any of his starts in the international cricket. A third, brilliant Venugopal Rao. Fantastic domestic performance, given chances, but never to be shining in the international arena. And there are parallels in the corporate world. You'll be able to understand the corporate analogy for this set, which is inconsistency in performance. These are people who are able to do a few things well, but for a few times, not consistently. They're not good in everything, they're not good in every time, that inconsistency in terms of what they're able to do, versus what they're expected to do, the inconsistency in delivering even in what they're able to do on a consistent basis ensures that they never get onto critical projects which push them, propel people into top of their league, top of their career. That never happens. The third set of factors are external factors, changing environment, and the lack of discipline to adapt to the changing environment. Couple of examples, Narendra Hirvani. In his very first test against West Indies, he produced 16 wickets to crumble the mighty West Indies. Won the match for India, but never to be producing that kind of magic ever again. He could not adapt to foreign pitches. Batsmen found out how he is bowling. They adapted. Narendra Hirvani could not adapt, and he vanished from the international scene. Dinesh Mongia produced a brilliant one-day century and was hailed as one of the very, very potential batsmen for India. But he could never adapt himself to the tough expectation that came with accolades. He joined the Rebel ICL and then was discarded, forgotten. That's what happens in corporate world also. There is a change in leadership, there is a change in KP, there is a change in environment, there is a change in competition, and you are expected to adapt to all of that. If you are not able to adapt, for those people who are unable to adapt, life is merciless. Corporate world can be brutal. They are forgotten. People move on, companies move on. All these people, once very promising, never to be heard of ever again in the corporate arena. Let's be very clear. Talent matters. You can't prove yourself in a cricket field without talent. But the point is, so many people have the talent. So many people come with natural talent. Only them come into the international stage. 146 crores population of India. I'm sure every single child ever born in India, especially after the 1983 World Cup win, has started dreaming of playing for India. And in India, cricket is religion and it's dream for every child. And when so many people are competing with each other, you need talent to come into the international stage. No questions on that. But what keeps you going? It's not the talent, because talent becomes a natural even field. Without talent, you cannot even come here. Only things which keeps propelling you, only things which pushes you to the top is not the talent, but the discipline and the hard work that people bring in on top of their talent. Sachin is Sachin not because of the talent. Talent is required, But the difference between Sachin and the Vinod Kambli is the sheer dint of discipline. Sachin hit the field every single day, whether it is raining or shining. He was running, he was fielding, he was bowling, he was batting, he was giving his 200% every single day to the cricket field. That is why he is what he is. Take Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh's fame, to my mind, is not what he produced, his six sixes or his World Cup win. All of that were magic. But to my mind, the magic from Yuvraj Singh is all about his comebacks. He was battling. He was a winner and he came, he rose above all the odds. He beat all the odds every single time because he had the dint of discipline. He came back. His comebacks were very, very popular. And to my mind, the most important comeback was the way he battled his cancer, the way he battled his injuries. He was able to come back from those. And that requires mental toughness. That requires the ability to work hard irrespective of what happens. Even when your body is crying for rest, he was able to come back and win it for India. That kind of hard work is what I'm talking about, which separates winners from losers. And bad things happen to all of us. Layoffs happen to all of us. Companies shut down, people get laid off. Even the best of the people get laid off. And there could be burnout issues. There could be personal issues which forces people to take leave, take off, and take a hiatus. And people bounce back only because they have the discipline, only because they have the dint of hard work, only because they are mentally tough. If people lack that, they cannot survive not only on cricket field but also on corporate fields. We have seen number of examples of people who were not consistent, number of examples of people who did put that required hard work, number of examples of people who somewhere lacked that mental toughness. Let's now also look at some of the famous examples. You already know them, but it's worth talking about them. Examples of people who had that hard work, who had that mental toughness, who produced that consistency. The first example, all of us know, the best example to my mind, Rahul Dravid. Not the flashiest, not the most brilliant in terms of batsman, not the most elegant in terms of what you want to watch. But my God, if I were to have one person in my team, that would be Rahul Dravid. Most reliable, the wall of India, the wall among the batsmen, craftsmanship. He mastered any pitch, and especially foreign pitches with bounce, which you can't even get to practice in India. And what mental toughness, what application, what adaptation, what consistency. And that is what you require even in the corporate field. My second example is MS Dhoni, not from Bombay, the place where cricketers just get produced. From Ranchi, people who don't even know where is Ranchi, what is that place? That is where he is from. And dint of hard work, sheer hard work, discipline, he went on to become captain of India and captain cool of India. The ticket collector who became the captain cool, the person who people won't have betted on, who won't have even have thought about to on giving second chances, went on to produce the World Cup for India and went on to produce the World Cup in the T20 as well as one day formats for India. Played some of the scintillating knocks, played some of the best knocks that you would ever see. And even today in IPL, in Chennai, the stadium explodes when MS Dhoni walks in. And that is the power of the person who has produced consistent performance over and over and over the years. And all of these are examples for us in the corporate field as well. There are people who, by the dint of hard work, consistency of the hard work, produce great results quarter after quarter, year after year, and plod on. And people sit up and take notice. Definitely, they are unmissable. And people want these people in their team. Every single leader wants this person in that team. Every single manager wants this person in that new project, which is exciting project. And that is where great performance, consistent performance, tops, beats over talent any day. What does all this mean to you? Cricket is great, watching is great, entertainment is great. All these are fantastic examples. What does it mean to you? I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. One, think and ask yourself, are you delivering performance consistently over and over and over? Or have you delivered performance in your year one, year two, maybe, but after that you lost interest? After that, you have lost focus. After that, you are doing something else and you are just coming and filling the chair. And by the sheer dint of habit, you are producing something which is far from that best that you produce in your early years. Think about it, ask that question. Two, are you producing performance only when it's exciting project? Or are you producing performance even when it is boring and mundane details that you apply yourself because it is required for the company, because you can produce, because you are expected to produce by your team? Ask yourself what is more important for you, interesting new things or consistently producing, going after even when it is not so exciting. If you are able to answer hand on your heart and say, yes, you are producing, you will go places. But if you are saying that, no, I'm not producing, I'm not consistent, then you need to think through very, very deeply. And I will give you some exercises right now. Exercise number one, consistency audit. Think about three things that you are naturally good at. What are the areas that you are passionate about? And how are you applying that in your company? How are you applying that natural talent in the context of your corporate life? And more importantly, are you applying these natural passions on a consistency basis? Are you producing results using these natural talent on a consistent basis? Think about how can you go about doing this on a consistent basis. Write down one habit out of these three natural talents, how to apply it in your context, in your company, in your corporate career, and how can you do this on a consistent week basis. What would propel you to do that? What would make you to do that? Think about that, note it down. That is exercise number one, consistency audit. Number two, your adaptability plan. Think about the big change which has happened recently in your company. Think about a big change which is happening in the environment, in the competitive context. How did you adapt yourself? How did you think about it? How did you perceive this change? And this thought process should tell you whether you are looking at change as a favorable thing or looking at change as, oh shit, what is happening? What am I going to do? Kind of thing. Write it down, think deeply. If such a change is going to happen tomorrow, and they will, the companies will change, leaders will change, your bosses will change, your teams will also change. The environment changes, competition changes. When these things changes, how do you adapt yourself to those changes? Are you happy? Are you willing? Are you applying yourself? Or are you afraid of these changes? And how do you adapt? Because changes are going to be the only constant, to say the cliche. Exercise three, what I call as a Dravid plan. Choose one area where you are very, very good, where you have natural talent, and choose that area where you want to be known as the Dravid of that area, the reliable person, the most reliable person in that area, and prepare a plan which will push you to do that, push you to exhibit your natural talent, push you to exhibit your natural talent in the most consistent, most reliable manner. One-on-ones, do that. Preparation, do that. Teamwork, do that. Showing up every single day with that talent, that application to the meeting to help everyone, whether they are in your team or not, do that. Think of what all you need to do so that you become the Rahul Dravid in that area, in your company, applying consistently so that whenever that particular talent is required in a particular project, people think, oh, call him. He's the best. Oh, call her. She is absolutely the best that we want in this team for this area. And that is when you would have arrived. That is when you would have become the Rahul Dravid of your team. Exercise number four, ask for feedback. Ask two very close colleagues. Ask your boss. Ask people whom you have worked with in different teams. Applying this particular talent where you are passionate and you want to be known as the Rahul Dravid in this area. Ask them whether you are showing the reliability. Ask them whether they will pick you in their team if they were to put a team for this team for a project where this particular talent is required. Will they choose you naturally? Will they choose you as the first person? Will they think of you as the first person when they construct the team? That is acid test. Do the acid test. Learn about yourself. Learn about what you need to do from now on. Let me leave you with this thought. Talent is very important, but talent is like a passport. It gets you there. Talent is like the door opener. It opens the doors. But how far you go into that building, how far you go up in that corporate ladder, that depends on your hard work. That depends on how much you are able to apply yourself day after day, every single day, irrespective of what happens out there in that field, irrespective of who becomes your boss, irrespective of how the competitive landscape changes. Can you apply yourself? Can you produce a magic every single day? That will decide how far you go in that corporate ladder. Think about it. Pick up one habit that you need to create today from whatever you have listened in this video. Think about great people who produce a difference, whether it is Rahul Dravid or Sachin or Yuvraj Singh or Dhoni. The people who created magic versus the people who had hundreds of talent but could not create that magic. Missed out, unfortunately. Whom you want to be and what kind of a habit, consistency, reliability will produce that magic. Think about it. We will meet in our next episode.